Welcome, fellow travelers. Today we venture into the shadowed corners of the human psyche, exploring one of America's most controversial phenomena, the Church of Euthanasia. We'll navigate the unsettling landscape of their beliefs and actions, seeking to understand what lies beneath their shocking pronouncements. Our journey will uncover the darkest facts about this group, their origins, public displays, and the philosophy that sparked both fascination and outrage. This is a story of radical ideas and the intense reactions they provoke. Prepare yourselves as we step into the unknown, to witness a spectacle of human behavior as bewildering as any in the natural world. Every group has a defining call. For the Church of Euthanasia, it was the infamous, "Save the planet, kill yourself." This wasn't a subtle message, it was a deliberate shock to the system, fusing environmentalism with the ultimate taboo. The motto forced a confrontation with our core values, questioning humanity's place on Earth. It repelled most but resonated with a select few who felt alienated from the mainstream. This phrase became their identity, encapsulating their ideology in 5 chilling words. It framed humanity as the planet's disease, not its caretaker. To understand the group, you must grapple with this motto. It's the key to their worldview. It's not just a slogan but a diagnosis and a prescription, delivered with cold certainty. The logic is disturbingly final, positioning the group as the ultimate antagonist to human progress. Even today the motto fascinates and horrifies, a declaration that the noblest act is to erase oneself from the story. The Church of Euthanasia didn't hide, they thrived on public confrontation. Their demonstrations were performance art, designed to provoke outrage and force society to react. At pro-life rallies, they wielded grotesque slogans like, "Eat a queer fetus for Jesus," turning protest into spectacle. After a local suicide, they appeared on TV to calmly demonstrate a suicide kit, crossing a line from provocation to perceived danger. They handed out literature at public events, confronting unsuspecting passers-by with anti-natalist sermons. The incongruity of their message in everyday settings amplified its unsettling power. These stunts were their survival strategy. Outrage brought attention and attention amplified their signal. Each headline was a victory, ensuring their disturbing message couldn't be ignored. The church thrived in the spotlight, using shock as their most effective weapon. At the core of the church's ideology are 4 pillars: suicide, abortion, cannibalism, and sodomy. Suicide is reframed as altruism, a rational choice to reduce humanity's burden on Earth. Abortion is celebrated as a moral imperative, stripping away its emotional complexity. Cannibalism, often satirical, is justified as ethical carnivory, consume only the already dead. Sodomy, defined as non-procreative sex, is encouraged to fulfill desires without increasing population. Together, these pillars form a philosophy that dismantles humanity's basic drives for survival and legacy. The Church's doctrine is chilling in its logic, reducing life to a cold equation. It's a coherent yet profoundly disturbing worldview. How did such a fringe group attract followers? Their recruitment was as unconventional as their beliefs. The early internet was their hunting ground, a digital wilderness where their bizarre websites stood out. For those feeling alienated or misanthropic, the Church's site offered validation and a sense of belonging. They tapped into subcultures like industrial and punk rock, spreading their message through music, zines, and flyers. Public notoriety became a recruitment tool. Media condemnation was a badge of honor. Joining the church was an act of rebellion, appealing to those drawn to the ultimate outsiders. They didn't persuade the masses, they resonated with the few already tuned to their frequency. Recruitment was self-selection. The curious and disenfranchised found their way in. The church's call was a low-frequency hum, attracting those who saw their own darkness reflected back. It was less about conversion, more about finding kindred spirits in the shadows. The church's website was a digital den of their ideology, unfiltered, provocative, and deeply unsettling. It featured detailed guides on suicide, presented with clinical detachment, alarming both visitors and authorities. Graphic images, videos, and sermons from founder Chris Korda filled the site, amplifying its macabre tone. The heroes section glorified figures who committed acts aligned with their cause, including public suicides and violence. This celebration of self-destruction cemented their reputation as a dangerous fringe group. The website's crude aesthetic only heightened its disturbing effect. it became a global beacon for extreme ideologies, showing the internet's potential for darkness. The church's digital presence was a stark warning. The web could host environments as strange and dangerous as any in the real world. The church's provocations led to constant conflict with society and the law. Their televised suicide demonstration resulted in a lawsuit after a woman followed their instructions, sparking national debate on free speech and responsibility. Public outrage was relentless. Protests, angry calls, and media coverage painted them as a depraved suicide cult. The backlash came from all sides, not just conservatives. Many were disturbed by their tactics and message. For families affected by suicide, the church's actions were a grotesque insult. Despite legal pressure, the church remained defiant, feeding on controversy as proof of their righteousness. The struggle became part of their identity, reinforcing their image as persecuted prophets. Every lawsuit and angry headline fueled their sense of purpose. The church thrived on conflict, using it to amplify their message. Their existence was a constant battle for survival in a world that found them abhorrent. Satire was the church's most potent weapon, blurring the line between belief and performance art. Their shock tactics ensured they'd never be ignored, detonating debates with slogans designed to outrage. Satire served as both camouflage and attack. When challenged, they could claim it was all a joke. This ambiguity frustrated critics and authorities, allowing them to push boundaries with plausible deniability. The result was profound unease. Were they sincere, or mocking belief itself? Their satire targeted not just society, but the very concept of conviction. By creating a church with such absurd doctrine, they held up a dark mirror to all organized movements. Their corrosive humor left only nihilistic laughter in its wake. The Church of Euthanasia didn't exist in isolation. It was part of a wider ecosystem of radical thought. They shared roots with deep ecology and radical environmentalism, taking the idea that humanity is the problem to its extreme. Their philosophy echoed the industrial music scene's fascination with taboo and dystopia, fitting perfectly into its aesthetic. Their methods, media manipulation, shock, charismatic leadership, mirrored other controversial cults of the era. This association placed them alongside groups like Heaven's Gate in the public imagination. Philosophically, they drew from anti-natalist thought but stripped it of nuance, turning it into aggressive performance. The church was the punk rock version of a bleak tradition, adding spectacle to pessimism. Their connections deepened their reputation as one of the strangest offshoots of modern culture. The church's relationship with the media was symbiotic, sensational stories for headlines and a global platform for their message. Talk shows and news reports amplified their bizarre persona, turning them into a real-life Addams family. This exposure blurred fact and fiction, spawning urban legends of suicide pacts and ritualistic cannibalism. Myths grew, fueled by public anxiety and media simplification. The church became a modern boogeyman, a cautionary tale about the internet's dark corners. Media coverage often ignored nuance, flattening them into a two-dimensional villain. Their legend outgrew reality, becoming internet folklore long after their peak. The myths ensured their immortality as a symbol of unsettling possibilities. The church became more than a group, they became a dark icon of the modern world. The Church of Euthanasia has faded from the spotlight, but its legacy endures. Their legal battles helped define early internet law, raising questions about free speech and incitement that persist today. Their use of shock, satire, and viral tactics influenced later activist groups and online movements. The church remains a symbol of ecological despair and misanthropy, a cautionary tale of environmental logic taken to its extreme. Their website is now a digital relic, but the anxieties they tapped into have only grown. The church's story is a reminder of the strange adaptations born from our deepest fears. Their legacy lingers as a warning about the power and danger of radical ideas. Our exploration ends here, having witnessed the bizarre life cycle of the Church of Euthanasia. We've uncovered their philosophy, public displays, and lasting impact. Thank you for joining this deep dive into one of history's strangest chapters. As you return to the world, remember, the darkest corners often reveal the most about ourselves. Stay curious, question what you see, and never fear exploring the unknown.